Hello, guys. We're going to be starting on the ground. Don't worry. Everybody online, do not be afraid of the bar today. You can use a chair. You don't necessarily need the bar at all. Today, I'm just introducing it as a balance stabilizer. So we have quite a bit of a lunge series today. So if you get sore at any point in time, feel free to grab hold of the bar. It helps tenfold, I promise. And then we also have the blocks for our pyramid pose schemes. Anything that you need additional height for, additional support. I know my arms are super short. I'm a short human, so they don't always reach the ground the way that I want them to. But if you're at home, don't worry. You don't necessarily need the bar. You don't need the blocks, and you don't need the bands. These are just for support and for an additional resistance. Other than that, today's not as scary as I might have made it seem, I promise. But if there are any points in this class that you feel like something's getting too difficult, you're getting too tired, feel free to break away, find a different pose that's comfortable for you, find a modification that works for you. I promise I don't bite, I won't be upset, and I probably won't notice because I'll be struggling in the front. Other than that, we're going to have such a fun class today. It's good to see everybody back. I missed you all. If you have watched, don't forget to start it. But we're going to start in that child's pose, as always, trying to keep our knees a little bit wider on the mat, walking our hands forward, using this time to bring awareness to all four corners of our body. You might try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, feeling your forearms starting to press into the mat as you slowly sink your chest further into the floor. Feeling that stretch through your hips, increasing that stretch through your upper back. If you'd like to increase the intensity, feel free to try to walk your fingertips just a little bit further forward. Slowly sinking deeper, taking this time to set your intentions for today's class. Become aware of what your body's feeling in the present moment. Are you sore? Are you stressed? Is there tension? Just note that so you can prepare for today's class. Might try box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold and repeat. When you're ready, feel free to tilt your palms up to the ceiling, bring your forearms up, trying to touch your shoulders, just to add a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more depth. If you're comfortable in the original child's pose, feel free to stay there as well. Option to rock side to side if you want to add a bit more fluidity and mobility through those hips. Still taking those deep breaths, trying to calm our brain, calm our muscles and our body, release that tension. Makes it easier to stretch, letting your body know it's okay to relax. Another deep breath in. Go ahead and lower those arms. We're just going to walk our hands to the left, stretching out the right side body. Get a little bit of length through that shoulder. Should be feeling this stretch all the way from your pinky to your elbow, your shoulder, hip, maybe even into your quad a little bit. Breathing into this one, trying to walk your hands just a little bit further to the left. Length on that inhale, sink a little bit further on that exhale. When you're ready, we're walking over to the right now. Same thing, but for the left side body. Still taking those deep breaths. Length on those inhales. Expanding through those exhales, letting yourself sink further. You might find that one side has more flexibility than the other side. That's completely okay. Just note that. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're walking our hands back to center, pushing ourselves up, finding that tabletop position. Shoulders are going to be stacked over the heels of our palms. Hips are going to be stacked over those knees. When you're ready, taking a deep breath in, expanding through the belly, lifting the chest up, trying to get our chin or our nose to reach the ceiling. Holding at the top, that big deep breath in. Exhale, squeeze that core, round out that back, push through those palms. Trying to get our ribs to meet our hips, holding again. And taking another deep breath in, expanding through the rib cage, breathing through the belly. Pushing that chest up, nose to ceiling, hold. Squeezing the core, rounding out that back again. Hold at the top, really push here. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. Inhale, big belly breath, expand the rib cage. Trying to find a bit more depth as you hollow out that back. Lift your nose a little bit further to the ceiling. Exhale, rounding out that back, squeeze the core, ribs to hips. Deep breaths. Go ahead and curl those toes underneath of you. Find that straight, neutral spine. We're just going to go straight into that downward facing dog. Hips are lifting all the way up, pedaling out those feet, waking up the backs of our legs. Ribs are pushing into the tops of our thighs. We're squeezing our back here, using our back muscles to keep us up. Try to keep those pressure off of your wrist joints. Elbows are a little bit bent. Taking a moment to find your breath here before we start our next flow. When you're ready, we're going to bend those knees, hover in that tabletop position, sink back, find that hover child's pose, and lift those hips back up into the air. Trying to find a bit more fluidity for those shoulders, warming up the body. Again, we're going to hover in that tabletop position, sink back, push into that child's pose, and we're coming all the way back up. Go ahead and do this one more time. We're going to hover, find that hovering tabletop, push back, hover child's pose, using our quads, staying strong, pushing those hips back in the air, downward dog. Taking another deep breath in. And when you're ready, we're going to walk our hands to our feet, finding that forward fold, letting the spine lengthen. Feel free to bend each knee, alternating if you need a little bit more mobility here. You can also hook those elbows for one deep breath in before we start our next flow. Warming up the body. When you're ready, go ahead and round out that back, vertebra by vertebra. We're coming all the way into a standing position, lifting fingertips overhead. Find that length, taking little side bends. If that feels comfortable to you, stretching out left and right side. Try not to shrug our shoulders, shoulder blades back and down. Another deep breath in. We're going to slowly sink into that chair pose, using those quads, using those glutes, pressing through the entirety of our foot. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then we're going to forward fold, bending over those knees. But we're not done yet. Go ahead and hinge at those hips. Keep that flat back. We're going to lift. Still squeezing through the quads, still squeezing through the glutes. And just lifting those arms all the way up. Squeeze those scapula together. Pinch that pencil in between your shoulder blades. Find that Y. Exhale, fold all the way over those feet. Inhale, we're going to roll our spine up again. Coming into that standing position. Hands overhead. Feel free. Take those little side bends. If that feels comfortable. Slowly sink down, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads. Knees are stacked over those toes. Back is flat. Still squeezing those shoulders. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hinge at the hips, squeeze the glutes. Arms are coming up, forming that Y. Shoulder blades are squeezing together. And we're coming back down. We're gonna do this one more time, just to really make sure we're all warmed up and ready for today's class. Go ahead and take a deep breath in, rolling all the way up into that spine. Standing, find length through those fingertips. Taking little side bends. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly sink, find that chair pose. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads. A little bit of heat generated into our muscles now. Forward fold over those knees. Deep breath in through the belly, hinge at the hips, squeeze the glutes, coming up, flat back. Bringing our arms up, we're finding that Y. Squeeze the scapulas together. Deep breath and forward fold. Go ahead and take a breath here, calming the muscles. Bringing awareness to your body before we start our fun little lunge sequence. If you're ready, go ahead and join me in that standing position. We're gonna step our foot forward, coming into a wide stance here. And when you're ready, we're gonna start with a little bit of squats, because who doesn't love those? We're gonna lower down, arms are gonna go out. We're pressing through our quads and we're lifting through our glutes. Going down and lifting back up. Going down, lifting back up. Using our shoulders to lift our arms. Using the core to stay balanced, pushing through the glutes and the quads. They should be activated the whole time. Try not to go all the way up to a full knee-locked position at the top. You lose that muscle momentum that you generate. Trying to keep those activated the whole time. Remember to use that breath. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. Let your breath work for you. For about 2 more. Make sure those muscles are activated, slow and in control. Go ahead and do 1 more. We're gonna hold at the bottom. From here, we're just gonna alternate lifting arm overhead. Round out into that C shape, flow to the other side. If you need that modification and you're not really into the flows here, feel free to just spend half the time one forearm pressed into that one knee, and half the time other forearm pressed into that other knee. But if you're still into that flow, feel free to join me. Still keeping those quads activated. They're probably burning a little bit right now. Still wanting to focus on that form. If you need to at any point in time, grab onto that bar. 2 more. Last one. Coming back to center, we're gonna pulse it out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Still staying in that squatted position. We're gonna open and close the gate, but as we close the gate, we're gonna shift that back foot into that lunge position. Opening and closing. Focusing on that balance, focusing on that stability, but also keeping our muscles activated this whole time. Using our breath, trying to expand through our chest a little bit more with every time. Try to do about 2 more. Still keep that glute and quad activated. Last one, open, really find that mobility. And we're holding in that lunge. Go ahead and lift overhead. We're gonna sink down. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, sink. Exhale, lifting up. If you're at home or if you need the bar, feel free to put those hands on the bar. and focus on the muscle that you're using at that moment. Trying to keep your knee stacked over your ankle here. Definitely a quad burner. If this is difficult for you, that's completely okay. We're going to try 2 more. And last one. We're coming up, but our arms are going to be in front of us. We're going to open the gate to the other side, but as we open the gate, feel free to extend that back leg. If you need to place your hand on the bar in front of you, at any moment, this gets difficult, take those breaks. We're almost done. Use your breath, slow and in control. Two more. You got it. Last one. Coming up, find that lunge. Go ahead and set that back foot down. Arms up overhead. Find that crescent. It's okay if the legs are shaking a little bit. Embracing the heat that you're generating. Another deep breath in. Go ahead and bring your hands to the top of your thigh. We're going to straighten out that front leg. You have the option to stay here, or you can grab those blocks, place them on either side of your foot, and meet me in pyramid pose. Guys, that could have been worse. I could have said we're pulsing for 8. That would have been so much fun. Still slowly trying to sink the hips down. The hips should still be parallel to the floor underneath of you. The purpose here is to feel that hamstring stretch, but if you'd like to feel more of a calf stretch, go ahead and bring those toes up to face the ceiling. Also, feel free to use that bar as well if you want to make more of a shoulder stretch here. Letting your muscles relax. Letting your body know it's safe and okay. Another deep breath in. And exhale. Go ahead and try to bend that knee if you can. We're going to place both of our palms on the ground. Step that foot back. Find that high plank. And push those hips up, finding downward dog. Go ahead and pedal out your feet. Shaking out the soreness from that tough lunge series. And when you're ready, try to kick that right leg up, finding that 3-legged dog. We're going to find our next little flow here. We're bringing our knee to our outside elbow. Kick it up. Knee to the inside elbow. And kick it up. Knee comes to the middle. And it goes back. Repeating that same thing all over again. But we're going to hold when we get to the middle. So knee to outside elbow. Knee to inside elbow. Keep that core on. Using your back, using your glutes, lifting through your core, holding in the middle, and we're going to tap to either elbow. Quick little taps for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kick that leg back out again. Feel free to bend that knee. Stretch it out. Hold at the top. Use that breath. And when you're ready, we're going to step our right foot to the outside of our right palm. Slowly lower that back knee down, finding that low lunge. Taking deep breaths here, just letting your hips adjust. Finding a bit of a stretch. If you want to add that flow, go ahead and straighten back to that bend. Trying to increase the depth every time. Remember, toes go up if you're looking for a calf stretch. If not, you should be feeling this more in your hips and your hamstrings. Just remember to breathe. Breathing's important. Another deep breath in. If you'd like to sit and sink into that stretch, but you still want to increase the intensity, feel free to kick that back leg up. Reach back with your right hand. That opposite leg. Feeling this one more in your left quad, letting your hips sink in. If you can't grab your foot, that's okay. Option to just reach. Holding here another couple seconds. Seeing if your body can release enough to find more depth in that stretch. If you had that foot, go ahead and let it down. All we're going to do now is that open to close, right fingertips come up, lower back down. Expand that mobility, but feel that stretch through your hips. You can also thread the needle if you want to reach forward and down to that opposite knee. Feel that more so in your hips. Completely up to you and your comfort level. Just try to get 3 more, really stretching through those fingertips. Last one, really reaching. As you come back down, feel free to push that knee to the outside, sinking through your hips. Open up your pelvis. Deep breaths. When you're ready, go ahead. If you have those blocks in the way, move them out. We're going to place both hands on the ground, foot's on the outside, but we're going to step our left foot up to the outside of our left palm. Find that yogi squat. Feel free to grab that bar if you need more support. Placing both palms on the ground. Slowly sink backwards or place that block underneath you. Completely up to you. Holding here, feel free to rock side to side. Still taking those deep breaths. When you're ready, slowly rising all the way up to that standing position. We're going to step our right foot back now, facing the opposite direction, still in that wide leg squat pose. We're going to lower down and pushing through our glutes, we're rising back up. Lowering down, rising up, activating those quads again. Glutes are squeezed, quads are engaged, core is lifted, shoulder blades are back and down. For 2 more. Last one. We're going to hold here, alternate lifting up those heels. Feel free to try to lift both at the same time if you can. Working that calf activation. For another couple more seconds. Still breathing. And we're pulsing it out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Still low down, but we're going to open and close that gate. Twisting to our left. Find that lunge. Twisting back. And opening up wide-legged squat. Almost like a starfish. We're pushing through the glutes, lifting through the hips. Still remembering to breathe. Remember to grab onto that bar if this feels difficult. Only about 2 more. Last one. We're staying in that lunge. Go ahead and lower, arms above head, and lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Keeping that quad engaged, squeezing and pushing up through your glutes. Knee is stacked over ankle. Deep breaths. Let's get 3 more. 2 and 1. Lifting up, interlacing those fingers, find that stretch. Sinking into that crescent lunge. Deep breaths. Option to grab that bar if this gets difficult. Feel free to bring those palms on the top of your thigh, straightening out your leg. You can stay here, or you can drop all the way into that pyramid pose with those blocks. Also, you can grab onto that bar, find a bit more of a stretch through that upper thoracic region. Just remember, we're trying to keep our hips parallel to the floor beneath of us. Looking for that calf stretch, go ahead and tilt your toes up to the ceiling. Another deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and bring your palms back down to the floor. We're stepping that left foot back. Downward dog. Pedaling out your feet. And your favorite part, when you're ready, we're going to kick our left foot up, find that 3-legged dog. Going back into that core sequence, knee to outside elbow, lifting off, knee to inside elbow, lifting off, and knee to center. If this is difficult for you at all, feel free to go down onto your right knee and do this workout from there. This is definitely modification. It's a lot more doable if your arms start to get tired. And from here, we're going to keep our knee in the middle. Once you get to that position, we're just going to tap, alternating elbows, a little bit of cardio. Deep breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sending that leg back, 3-legged dog. Feel free to bend that knee, tilt those hips for that stretch. Another deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to step our left foot to the outside of our left hand, lowering that right knee down to the ground. Slowly just letting yourself adjust, letting your hips lower. Deep breaths. Remember, you always have the option to find that straight knee, bent knee flow. Great for mobility. Letting those toes tilt up to the ceiling. If you're looking for a calf stretch. Just trying to increase that range of motion. Going into that stretch, feel free to bend that knee, lift that back leg up, and reach if you can. Feel free to grab onto that foot. Feeling a bit of a stretch. Remember, you always have the blocks to guide you if you need some more support. Slowly letting yourself sink deeper into this stretch. If you had your foot or if you were reaching for it, go ahead and let it go. Going back into those chest openers, reaching our left hand up and overhead, and closing that gate back down. Lifting up, increase that range of motion, and lower. If you'd like to increase the intensity level here, you can also reach up and thread through, grabbing that opposite knee. Whatever feels comfortable for you. About 2 more. Last one, we're reaching up, really increasing that depth. And as you come back down, feel free to push that knee to the outside, sinking your hips further into the floor. Holding here for a deep breath in. Let your body adjust. Exhale, bringing both palms to the floor. Go ahead and step that foot back. We're going to come on to our knees for some knee push-ups, keeping those elbows tight into your sides. We're going to lower and push back up, pushing through our triceps, lifting through our chest. Keep that pressure off of your wrists. A little bit we'll add on to it. One more. Go ahead and push up, but as you push up, we're going to sink back, child's pose, and come back to another push-up. Giving your arms a well-deserved break. Go ahead and do one more. We're going to slowly lower down in that push-up, but we're just going to hold here. Make sure that chest is engaged. Those triceps and those biceps are burning. And lower all the way down. Go ahead and interlace those hands behind you if you can. Option to rock side to side. Just stretch it out. Deep breaths. Go ahead and unhook your hand. We're going to push back up into tabletop position. The moment we've all been waiting for. Go ahead and grab one of your bands, whatever intensity level you'd like. If you're at home, trust me, you don't need a band, but if you feel left out and you really want one, you can grab a towel and just pull it this way. Everybody in class, we're going to put our hands on the inside of the band, and we're just going to do some half roll-ups. Lowering down, squeeze the core, lift up. The chest is lifted the entire time. Your core should be engaged constantly. Slowly lower and lift back up. Slowly lower. Try to keep your palms facing the ceiling if you can. Tension from the band. Keeping your shoulders on for 2 more. Last one, we're gonna hold in a half lifted position, core still engaged, palms to the ceiling in that band, and we're gonna mimic some bicep curls. Should be feeling a bit of a burn. Just make sure that muscle is engaging. Let's try to get 3 more in. Make sure you're feeling both left and right bicep. Another deep breath. Exhale, holding at the top. We're lifting straight up. Feel that chest activation, feel that back. If you want to add a little bit more intensity, you can lift those feet up off the ground. Completely up to you. For 1 more. This time as we lower, you're gonna pull the band with your left hand, twist to the left, mimicking a Russian twist, coming back to center. Same thing for the other side, and we're lifting all the way up. Feel free to do it with me if that was confusing. I know I was confused when I learned this. You should be feeling at core, you should be feeling at arm, back, everywhere. That's okay. Remember to stay within your comfort zone. About 2 more. Almost done. Last one. Feel free to relax a little bit. Give yourself a nice butterfly stretch. Core is probably burning. Just breathe. If you like, this is completely optional. Feel free to put that band on your legs. Anna, you're a genius. We're gonna put it just above our knees, add a little bit of resistance. If you're at home, trust me, you probably don't need resistance, but I like to keep it fun. Our band is on our legs. We're just gonna slowly lower down, find that reverse tabletop position. With that tension, we're gonna push our knees outward, but we're gonna crunch up and pulse. Crunch up, core engaged, and pulse. Feel free to put your hand placement wherever you'd like, whatever's comfortable. Just make sure your core is engaged. No funny little space between your lower back and the mat. Still deep breaths. About 2 more. Last one, we're just gonna pulse it out at the top, holding in that lifted position. Deep breaths. Last one, go ahead and extend your legs fully out, holding in that boat pose option to lift those arms up and down. You got it. Almost there. 10 more seconds. Trying to lift a little bit further, lower the legs a little bit more. Go ahead and grab those knees. Give your core a nice break. Deep breath before we get to the next segment of our core today. When you're ready, go ahead and kick those legs back out. We're going to separate our knees just a little bit. Feet are going to be flexed. We're going to bring our knees in, lift up, find that core, crunch, and send those feet back out. The lower you put your feet, the more intense you're going to feel this in your core. You might feel a little bit of a shake. Keep those deep breaths. Let's try to get 2 more. Last one, extend. Bring those knees back in. We're placing our feet directly behind our glutes, pushing through our heels and our toes, pelvic floor tilted up and in, lower back completely flush to the mat. Squeezing with our glutes, we're lifting all the way off into that glute bridge. Lowering back down and lift. Our core and our glutes should be engaged this entire time. Should be a little bit of a burn there. Deep breaths in. 2 more. Last one, we're going to hold at the top. We're going to do pulses out with the knees. Wake up the adductors, wake up the glutes. Deep breaths. 15 more seconds. You got it. 5 more seconds. Feel the squeeze. And lowering those glutes all the way down. Go ahead and lay your legs flat. Taking one deep breath, letting yourself relax. Let that core take a break. We're going to reach our hands up and over the head. When you're ready, we're dolphin, falling forward, reaching for those toes. For one deep breath in, and lowering back down. Rolling all the way up, coming forward, reach for those toes. And lowering all the way back down. Couple more times. Reaching up, finding length, trying to stretch a little bit further every time. Using our core, slowly falling down. And reach. Lifting up. Go ahead and just hold at the top here. Find that deep breath. One more core exercise. Go ahead and grab onto one of those blocks. Slowly falling down. Reverse tabletop position. We're going to place that block on top of our shins. Extending our legs out. Lifting them back up, grabbing the block with our hands. Extending out. Crunching back in. Remember, there should be no space between your lower back and the mat. Two more. You got it. Keep that core engaged. Last one. Go ahead and set that block to the side. Take the bands off. We're going to go ahead and lift up our right foot, bring the outside of our right ankle to the top of our left knee. Feel free to stay here if this stretch is good enough for you. But you also have the option to grab on to your left leg, left shin. Slowly rock it out. Feeling a stretch through that right hip. Deep breaths. Let the body know it's okay to relax. When you're ready, we're going to send our hands to either side of our body. Bottom of our right foot is going to meet the floor. Hips gently fall to the left. Trying to keep our shoulders on the ground. Coming back up to center, unhooking our right foot from our left. Lift the left, hook it over our right. Feel free to stay here or grab onto that right leg, gently pulling it closer to you. Option to rock side to side. Sending our hands to either side of our body, gently letting our hips fall to the right. Taking another deep breath, we're going to meet back in center, unhooking our left foot, bringing the soles of our feet together. One hand over your heart, one hand over your stomach. We're going to meet here for our last few breaths of class today. Taking this time to bring awareness to all four corners of your body. Try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Feel the back of your head pressed into the mat. The rise and fall of your chest as you slowly sink further and further into the floor. Try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. Letting go of any tension or stress from the day and setting your intentions for the rest of today. Take that full brain scan. Where's your body sore? Where is it energized? Where does it feel tension? That's going to bring us to the end of today's class. Feel free to stay and stretch if that feels good for you. Thank you all so much for coming. I look forward to seeing you all for a very exciting class on Tuesday.